Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Lindsay. I'm a watercolour artist, and in today's video I'm going to be doing some really gorgeous and colourful lemons. So I thought I would do this today, do it more of a loose style. I'm not even going to draw the picture first, which is what I normally do, because these lemons you can simply just use your watercolour and pop it straight down onto the page. So grab your paints, follow along with me today, and I hope you really enjoy this. If you like watching art tutorials, I do lots of watercolour tutorials on this channel. I also plan, when I learn further as well, to broaden my media on this channel because I love coloured pencils and drawing and all sorts. So if you want to learn more about watercolours, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. Enjoy it, and let's get stuck straight in. The first thing I'm going to do is take my yellow and I'm just going to paint a simple oval shape. I'm going to leave a little bit of white of the paper showing, and that is because I want highlights within the lemon, and that's just going to give the look of more of a shinier skin and also make the lemon look more rounded so that it's not just a flat shape. So you can see how simple it is just to do like a tear sort of shape. I'm going to paint another one here, and I am going to let those two lemons touch. So I'm just painting kind of like a tear shape. These are really simple to do. And then I'm just letting that end be a little bit pointier, just like a lemon shape. And I forgot to leave a highlight, so I'm going to actually make that a little bit more rounded. Now I'm going to go in with a darker yellow. So this is just more concentrated pigment, and it just gives a bit of a shadow to the lemon so that it looks more rounded and it doesn't end up looking just like a flat shape on the page. It makes it look more like a real object. I'm just taking my damp brush now and I'm just going to blend that edge out a little bit because I don't want a harsh edge there. I want it to look really smooth. And I think I'll put my last lemon by here. Remember to leave a little highlight. That's just going to make the lemon look more shiny because a lemon's skin is quite shiny. So again, I'm just taking a darker pigment. It's not too dark, it's just got less water in it, and I'm just going to paint that onto the left hand side and let it bleed across into the wet paper. Next I'm taking some Hooker's green and I'm going to dab that onto the end of the lemon, and what I want it to do is bleed slightly into the lemon colour. That's just going to give a slightly sort of blended look to the lemon. So I'm just going to add that to the end of the lemon while the paint is still wet so that it bleeds out slightly into the lemon. And then I'm just going to draw on some stalks, and on the end of the stalk I'm just going to press down on the page and create a leaf shape. And then with these leaf shapes I'm going to do them double-sided, so I'm going to leave a bit of a gap in between so that you get a white highlight in the middle. I just think they look really interesting like that. Then I'm going to do another one by here. So add some pressure to your brush and lift up at the end. Pressure, then lift up, and then you end up just getting a lovely leaf shape. So pressure, just press down on your brush, lift up at the end, pressure, lift up at the end. So I'm going to continue with drawing these leaf shapes now. Drawing? Painting? I went a little bit wonky on this leaf here, so it ended up looking really wonky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some Payne's Grey mixed with green into parts of the leaf so that you get a slightly two-tone effect, and it just adds interest to the leaf like that. It just adds more interest and colour to the painting. And you want to try and do this while the paint is still wet, so that's why I'm just doing a few leaves at a time. Simply just paint a stalk And then on the end of your stalk, press down on your paper with your paintbrush and lift up, and that creates a leaf shape. And like I said, I am going to do these double leaves, so you can use the tip of your brush just to paint the other side of the leaf. And while that's still wet, I'm going to drop in some darker paint and just let it do its own thing and let it bleed across the page. Sometimes it does want to play nice, so I have to give it a little bit of a coax. So it is completely up to you how many leaves and stalks you do. Just have a little play around with this and see what works best for you. You can of course leave leaves like this as well, which I think look really nice. I'm also going to add these little buds. So all I'm doing is just painting a little bit of green on the end of a stalk. Then I'm adding just a touch of yellow to the end, and that's just going to look like a little flower or a little lemon bud. You can see here that that green has bled out too much, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my damp brush and I'm just going to use that to lift off some of the green paint, and that's because the paint just spread a little bit too far for my liking. So I'm just going to use a damp brush to take that off, and I'm just going to paint some more yellow over the top of that. I'm going to use a very light wash of yellow to draw the stalk, and then I'm going to allow some of the green to mix with the yellow, and then I'm going to get a yellowy green stalk, and that just gives it a little bit of variety and makes it look more interesting with the different colours. You can see that the colours are mixing together. I'm going to paint a leaf on the end. I'm going to add some darker green to my leaf and let it bleed across the page. You can let some leaves touch as well, and I just think that looks more interesting because then you get the leaves bleeding into one another, and it just creates lots of colour and makes it look really, really nice and bold and interesting. With this paper that I'm using here, it isn't the best quality paper that I'm using, so that's why I think the paint isn't bleeding out as much as I want it to, although my paper is very, very wet. It's just not playing very nice. I have got better quality paper that I love using, but I'm not using it for this tutorial. So I'm going to add these little buds now, like I did before. And the last thing I'm going to do is just add the little lemon ends to these buds. Pop another one here, I think. And look how simple and easy and quick that was to do. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and followed along with me today. Remember to subscribe before you go. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.